is John, and I am a nobody. If you are like me and as fortunate enough to have met the right person, you will know that your life is full of unexpected changes, but pleasantries as well. So today we're off back to our road trip in the States, and I was traveling down towards Hayes, and I said and again. I think I was in Idaho. We've been traveling, driving, well, Robert Upwood had been driving very well. For hours we were in the middle of nowhere and landed up at this valley, dry valley bed, and I got out to relieve myself. I think the Americans call it a coulee. It was basically just a dry riverbed, or maybe it wasn't a riverbed, maybe it was just where the glacier had carved its way through, and it was covered with vegetation. The sun was bearing down upon us from above, so it must have been around midday. I got out and went to relieve myself and looked around for a while. It was one of those moments where you don't realize that your life has changed, but it has, for the better. And you think it's going to last forever, but it's not. But it's one of those special moments you always remember, like your wedding, if you're lucky enough to find the right person, which I did. Everywhere there was just vegetation and the sun, the rock walls on either side, and this flat expanse of nothing really. I had a lovely moment relieving myself, and then I realized something. I was standing in rattlesnake country, perfect rattlesnake country. The small plants would give a rattlesnake enough cover if they wanted shade, but otherwise there was nobody around to disturb them. I finished my business and then made my way gingerly back to the car, because I thought, well, hang on, if you get bitten in a place like that, you're miles from anywhere, so nobody's going to come and help you, or if they do, it would be too late. I got back in the car very relieved, in every sense of the word. Peter Lanahan, who I mentioned last week, was sometimes called Rattleskin Pete. That was his nickname, because he used to wear a band of rattlesnake skin around his hat. And to get back to him again, because I find it incredible that he's been forgotten or is never mentioned by anyone in any books on the period or movies or films. He just seems to have been ignored, which is a shame, because he made a huge change, a huge influence. He had a huge influence on me. If you think about what he did, he got the men who had sexually accosted, an elderly black woman, and had them arrested, which in 1871 was quite something. He got them arrested, put in jail, and was not ready for when they got acquitted. They got acquitted. It was 1871, as I said. The men themselves were so upset about being arrested and put in jail for what they had done that they conspired to have him assassinated. So they waited on the corner of a bar, and standing on the doorway, in the doorway, was one of the barmen from Tommy Drum's saloon in Hayes. Peter Lanahan, Rattlesnake Pete, turned up. He was by then the sheriff, and a gunfight ensued between him and the barman from Tommy Drum's saloon. Peter Rattlesnake Pete won the initial engagement, though was fatally wounded. And instead of just going away or getting help, he was given another second loaded revolver by the lady who ran the brothel just around the corner where I have been. It's a pub now. He went back in to this establishment to confront the accusers, the people he'd arrested, some of them. And there were, I think, 8 people in all. So there's 8 people, 8 people, I think, 8 armed men against 1 lawman. And he took them all on. Nowhere is this being documented by Hollywood or any of the magazines that are interested in the period. This was a remarkable feat of Rattlesnake Pete to get involved in. He was mortally wounded at the time as well, and died, or passed on, later. It's an incredible story. He was lying on the table in the brothel when he was shot at by one of the men who had survived the bar fight. He shot at him with a rifle, probably a bison gun, maybe a Sharps or something, or a Remington, and he's not mentioned anywhere. Just this little English guy has to remember him. It's a bizarre story. But moving down to that, I think the Americans call it coulee. It's to that dry riverbed, and considering the fact that I might be standing amongst maybe hundreds of rattlesnakes, is something I won't ever forget. And I thought I would share it with you today. So take care of yourself. Try not to stand on anything you shouldn't. and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care of yourself and those you love, and I hope to see you in the next one. Just a